What's up? What's up? We are back. I am Ross Bolen here with your co-host Jared Borislow. Jared, I had lost sense of what day it was due to the pandemic. Many months ago, I waved bye-bye to the weekly calendar, and now I really don't even know what time it is due to daylight savings. I've never felt more lost. Jared, what time is it?
10:39 a.m. is what my computer says. I don't know if my computer auto-updates anymore.
It does, of course, but that isn't correct. The answer was game time. It is game time.
Well, my computer certainly doesn't say that.
Your clock is wrong. Daylight savings time has begun now. Or ended? I'm never sure. It is perhaps my least favorite human construct. Like, we invented time as if that wasn't enough of a burden, and then we had to go and make it even more complicated by trying to save time everywhere except Arizona, where the clock just stays the same. And every year, I feel obligated to complain about this nonsense. I can't stop.
Yeah, I loved daylight savings time because it has a name in the disc golf community, and that is the Disc Golf National Holiday. Because if you're a disc golfer, when you get more daylight, you can play a round of disc golf after work. I'm not kidding. Any disc golfer will tell you I am 100% correct in saying this. But
do you think?
Well, I'm saying now with my shoulder injury
to the disc golfing community.
I'm sure there's other niche hobbies who enjoy having more daylight after work. Maybe
just anyone who enjoys the outdoors.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
probably
The outdoorsmen.
But they haven't branded it like we have. We really took it and ran with it.
If you're asking yourself, what is Jared talking about? What is disc golf? It's golf, but with frisbees instead of balls and clubs.
Well, Ross, I'm going to stop you right there. You can't say frisbee. Frisbee is a trademark owned by the Waymo Corporation. It's disc golf.
I apologize. Discs.
Thank you.
You throw discs.
I'll also accept hucking bees because bees isn't trademarked.
This is complete nonsense, though.
Well, no.
The whole frisbee thing is. You and I have been down this road before.
I mean, I feel like you can say Band-Aid,
Kleenex.
but
it'd be like if somebody told me, like, actually, you can't call that a golf ball. That's been trademarked by another company. That is a round, wacky circle. You'd just be like, nah, that's a golf ball. Same with this whole frisbee situation.
At what point do brand names enter the public domain, right? Like, I feel like at a certain point, you have to
court to argue.
You have to give up some of your brand, like, equity for all the value you get by being the go-to name, right?
We give a lot of shit to doctors for playing God, thinking they're powerful people. You know, they always have this sort of attitude toward them. No offense to
I've
the
never
doctors
given shit to a doctor
listening.
for that.
Me, I'm not a doctor fan. But really, when you think about it, the most, like, soapboxy people are judges. Can you imagine thinking, like, I am so smart and correct that I want to be a judge so that I can pass down judgment on the other humans? What an intense job. You wake up every day and you put on a robe and you just go dispense justice.
Ross, for like 5 months of this podcast, that's literally what you did. You woke up, you put a robe on.
And dispense justice.
Yeah. But I just watched Your Honor on Showtime. So now
With Bryan Cranston?
With Bryan Cranston.
What'd you think?
Okay.
I haven't watched it. I'm a big Bryan Cranston guy, though.
If you like Bryan Cranston, you're going to love it.
Cool.
Bryan Cranston
That's all
at his
I need to
best. There's some parts of the show you're going to be like, that was fucking stupid.
Fair
But
enough.
I think it's worth a watch. I also think if you're looking for more unsolicited recommendations, The Wilds on Amazon Prime. Very good.
Wild.
The Wilds.
Not Into the Wild.
The Wilds.
The Wilds, plural.
Yes.
More than one wild.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think there's like 8 other Wilds.
Well, we really appreciate those random watching recs.
Thank you.
For the beginning. By the way, we have a television and film podcast here at Bolen Media. It's called Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, where every week we talk about the best in TV and film. We have some shout-outs to start today's show. Shout out Bailey from your girlfriend, Brooklyn. Happy birthday and happy graduation as well. Shout out TD for all the big life changes. Keep it up, brother. Happy early birthday, Eric Nolfa. And welcome to everyone who's new here. Welcome to everyone returning. Welcome one and all. Let's take care of some business quickly. #business. This episode of RBP is brought to you by Cuts Clothing. Fellas, the sport of business means demanding excellence from your craft and wardrobe. Your fits need to be versatile, blending timeless style and comfort so that you look as good as you feel. And for that, there's Cuts Clothing. They've taken a classic men's staple, the plain tee, and refined it, combining premium quality with minimalistic aesthetic. They've got shirts, polos, hoodies, crew sweatshirts, all made for the man who works hard, plays hard, and never settles for less, all in the sport of business. Built for performance in the boardroom, the bar, or the gym, Cuts Clothing keeps you sharp wherever the game takes you. In 2016, Cuts founder Stephen Borelli set out to create the perfect t-shirt, one that complemented every occasion, and the end result is what GQ magazine calls the only shirt worth wearing. The signature buttery soft Pika Pro Tri-Blend tee. It's a bold new take on a classic design, combining the ultimate blend of high-quality fabrics. The perfect t-shirt has been accomplished. It's been done.
Can you speak to what it feels like when you toss a Cuts t-shirt on your body?
They're the best fitting, best looking t-shirts I have ever worn in terms of like most of my tees kind of make me look like a slob.
Mm-hmm.
T-shirts can make you look slobby. Cuts clothing, never.
There's some t-shirts that I've seen you wear now like once a week for the last 5 years, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
They're incredible.
Are you going to say right now, as somebody who has worn shirts for years, that you would wear Cuts for years?
I am going to be wearing Cuts for years. I wear them every week, and I love them. Entrepreneurs, mavericks, athletes, even podcast hosts, everyone loves Cuts. Just like GQ said, it's the only shirt worth wearing. It's not just a lifestyle. It's not just clothing. It's office leisure apparel for the sport of business. Go to cutsclothing.com/RBP. 15% off. The only shirt worth wearing when you go to cutsclothing.com/RBP. 15% off the only shirt worth wearing. First segment of today's show. Extracting value from everyday life. So at this point, it's like we as a society are actively trying to live out all the most terrifying sci-fi movies ever made and literally taking on each episode of Black Mirror one by one. Jared, there's a new app, a new platform out called NewNew.
NewNew.
And I want you to try and explain what NewNew is at the top here, and then I'll read you some more about NewNew from the New York Times.
Okay, so pretty much, you know how these days a lot of people are live streaming and there's comment sections that are very active for big creators?
Yeah.
And people are always like, oh, you should collab with this person. Oh, like you should go back and do another video on Starbucks, right? So
there's things that fans, followers of content creators want them to do.
Exactly. And so now, rather than
this happens to me all the time. People ask me, more pictures of your feet. Take off your shirt. Show us your nipples.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
And so, Ross, it's time to monetize that.
That makes sense.
So rather than people
But I thought OnlyFans existed for this purpose.
Yeah, it does. But this is, I believe, not only sexual.
Oh, this is NewNew.
Yeah, this is NewNew. Well, Ross.
It's not new. It's double new.
Double new. Yes.
So,
So,
squared.
for example, Ross, if you were on NewNew, if you were a NewNew guy, is there a name for that? Like,
I was on there newing.
yeah.
Just newing.
People would put money into NewNew. I believe for that money, they would receive something like a new point. And then you pay money.
Sounds like the Jeremy Renner app.
It sounds a lot like the Wednesday Jeremy Renner experience.
I don't want any more Ren coins, Jared. I put my entire life savings in a Ren coin. Everybody else went Bitcoin. Look at me now. I'm broke.
It's the only crypto that has depreciated in value in the past year. Is the Ren coin. This is really similar to that, actually. I feel like this may have been inspired by the Ren coin. Either way, Ross.
Yeah.
So the creator will put out a poll.
Sure.
And the more like money you've put in, the more points you have, the more weight you have in these polls.
Okay. So if I've paid more, my opinion matters more.
Yes.
Yeah, this is just like Rencoin.
Where you can like get your comment.
Like
to
the more
top,
you paid, the more likely it was that Jeremy Renner, and it was actually like Jeremy Renner's cousin Jethro running the app and just collecting, would respond to you and see your comment. The more money you paid, then this is sort of like that.
So I personally need to get on NewNew for one reason and one reason only, and it's so I can say the following paragraph to anybody who ever sees me. You can look all over, but no, you'll never find hot shit like mine. Whoop! It blow your mind. You can look all over, but no, you'll never find hot shit like mine, because I provide Dat NewNew. It's a 2008 Kid Cudi hit called Dat NewNew, which is the only thing I think of the entire time we talk about this.
I mean, I'm a big Cudi fan, and I don't remember that track.
It's not on Spotify. It is a deep cut. It was some guy produced it, and Cudi sang it, and you can find it on YouTube.
It's Dat NewNew, though.
It's Dat NewNew. It's very good.
Okay, I'm going to read you a little bit from the New York Times. I'm sorry, the New York Times here. About NewNew, okay? One comes in the form of NewNew, a startup in Los Angeles that describes its product as creating a, quote, human stock market, end quote. Maybe don't describe your product that way. because the human stock market exists, and it's called slave trade. And it's bad.
It's not good.
Not the thing you should comp yourself to when you're a startup, no matter how new you may be.
Yeah.
I'm feeling old reading this. On the app, fans pay to vote in polls to control some of a creator's day-to-day decisions. For example, a creator can use NewNew to post a poll asking which sweater they should wear today, or who they should hang out with, and where they should go. Fans purchase voting power on NewNew's platform to participate in the polls, and with enough voting power, they get to watch their favorite influencer live out their wishes like a real-life choose-your-own-adventure game. Quote, this is from the founder of a popular creator economy community on Discord, Jin Lee. Quote, creators are burning out, but their fans want more and more. By monetizing each aspect of their life, they can extract value from everyday interactions. Courtney Smith, the founder and chief executive of NewNew, said the company was, quote, similar to the stock market, end quote, in that you can, quote, buy shares which are essentially votes to be able to control a certain level of a person's life, end quote. This is like, how are we just trying to find the line? Is that what we're doing now? We're just pushing as far as, like, this is, no psychologist would read this and go, oh, this is good for society.
I think
this is what we needed, Jared.
When I read her quote at the bottom, it's like the normalcy with which she is laying this out. It's like, you just
totally,
you pay money and you can
Human
control
stock
somebody's
market.
life.
Yeah, you make all the decisions for what they can do on a day-to-day. And look, this is how somebody ends up publicly having sex with a pig, like at the end of the first episode of Black Mirror, spoiler alert. Because some people will do anything for money. Like, this means that literally right now I could leave, go get on NewNew, and say, what should I have for lunch? And somebody could vote up human shit.
Well, I think you make the poll. You make the options. If that changes. So unless you put human shit, which maybe I feel like you might do as a joke.
And then they would
do it.
Am I beholden to these people? Like, what if they vote or pay for something and then I go, no?
Then you probably refund them. I don't know. I've never been a NewNew guy.
Like, no, I'm not going to have sex with that pig in the town square.
Again, you would have to put that in as a poll option. I don't know why you keep acting like you would do that to yourself unless you're trying to engage in some crazy form of self-sabotage, which you might to get famous on NewNew. There will be people, guaranteed, Ross, on NewNew who are like, I'm going to get famous on NewNew.
But... yeah.
Crowdsourcing me doing crazy shoe nice level shit.
Yeah, shoe nice, a gentleman literally spelled like it sounds, who has been eating and drinking things you're not supposed to eat or drink on YouTube for, I think, a decade now. I hope he's still kicking it. Like, I hope he's still alive. But between this NewNew shit and like Top Shot and the NFTs and Bitcoin, frankly, it seems like a lot of people have so much money that they don't know what to do with it. Like, these stimmy checks are going straight to paying Jared to shave his dog on NewNew.
You want to see that?
Kind of.
Find me on dat NewNew. I'll say this, Ross. I'm excited by one prospect.
What?
Okay, about this. I want to bear hug somebody's life, like from Succession. I think we
through NewNew.
So we need to get the entire RVP gang together to all just
pool our money,
find one person
and control their life entirely.
Yes. If we do that, if everybody on RVP puts $5 in a NewNew, we could literally control somebody's life entirely.
We could have a person that we get to control like a video game avatar and send them around the real world doing things. Here's what concerns me. There are people, particularly young, stupid, greedy people, who will do anything. Somebody's going to NewNew a murder. Like, this is just a hitman service, right?
You have to put it in the poll. I feel like NewNew has some sort of content policy in place. Like, hey, one of the things in the poll can't be murder a human.
Well, those were going to be the only options on my NewNew. It was going to be eat human feces and then commit a human murder. And you pick which one.
How do you choose?
The other one was eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. There's 3 options.
That brings up an interesting point.
Number 4 was Pet, Bruce, and Bella. There were 4.
You're incentivized to pick things that people really want on both sides. So, like, if it's 50-50, people are like, oh, shit. I want Ross to eat human shit. I need more money there. And people are like, no. I want him to murder a guy. We got to get it back to over 50% to murder.
That's how it's like the stock market.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm interested in NewNew.
So, like, you need to make things that are, all the options have to be so even, right? And there have to be people who really want to do each of the options who are going to outbid each other.
Human beings aren't responsible enough to make decisions about their own day-to-day lives. Now we are enabling them to make decisions about other people's day-to-day lives in exchange for currency.
Ross, you need to have more faith in humans. If you think people aren't going to use this app only for good and they have the best interest of all the NewNewers, best intentions, best laid plans for NewNewers,
you're right.
Then why are you even like here?
This is just the pessimist in me. You know what it is? I watched Westworld season 3.
Yeah.
This feels like the little mission app they have where like pops up on your phone and tells you what to do
It is.
next.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
Don't know how to feel about that, Jared.
But I really do. It's interesting. Like maybe you and I, if this is the stock market, the human stock market, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we make like a hedge fund, or a venture capital fund.
I feel like you're a penny stock, and I'm like a blue chip. I'm like a Nasdaq stock, and you're a penny stock. I'm like a real New York Stock Exchange. I'm like Macy's. You know, a real stock.
That's
a real
not a blue chip.
Low.
What?
Former blue chip, low right now, but perhaps has an opportunity to come back.
I don't think Macy's is coming back.
Are you sure?
But the penny stock.
I heard the malls are the next GameStop. Hey, that's where GameStop is, in the mall. Sometimes.
Only sometimes.
Everybody is putting their money in strip malls and full-blown malls.
And
NewNew.
I think strip malls should be more common. I think we need to tear down malls, large indoor malls,
And make them into strip malls?
make them into like 8 strip malls, right?
I'm from Houston, which is essentially one gigantic strip mall with like 6 million people in it. So I've never felt a need for more strip malls, but I do understand.
We need to
I do
follow
understand.
the LA model, right? Which is you make these really weird L-shaped 2-story strip malls that are on like every corner, and randomly there's like a 3-star Michelin restaurant in one of them, and then also somebody gets murdered next door in like the smoke shop.
That's the idea.
That's what we need to turn every mall into.
Los Angeles and Houston have that down. It's the other cities that need to follow suit.
Yeah.
Frankly. Anyway, Jared and I will be on NewNew by the end of the week. And if you'd like to pick what we have for lunch on Friday, you can do that.
Speaking
on NewNew.
Speaking about lunch, I actually think we should have Chipotle quesadillas for lunch today, but we can get into that later.
Yeah. Today's going to be the first episode in a long time that we talk about Chipotle again. Very much looking forward to that. But first, this episode of RBP is also brought to you by MyBookie.ag. March is here. The madness is officially beginning. It's time for you to shoot your shot and score big on the nonstop action with MyBookie.
I'm so excited. Russ,
it's happening, Jared.
There's no time I like more betting than March Madness.
There's no time anyone that is sane and intelligent likes more sports betting-wise than March Madness.
In my sports betting group text, I remember specifically, I'm pretty sure one of the dudes in it cried when they canceled March Madness last year. I think he legitimately, actually cried.
I've seen, look, we've all seen a lot of things happen in the past year and a half that have upset lots and lots of people. Political things, social things. I felt more heartbreak from those around me due to March Madness being canceled than anything else. Because it was like we needed it more than ever in this trying time, and we didn't have it. Now it's back. You can select the winners from 63 tournament games in the MyBookie bracket contest for a chance at $10,000 in prizes, and it's only $1 to enter. It doesn't matter whether you're filling out multiple brackets, betting the national championship winner, or simply looking for player and game props. MyBookie.ag has you covered. You sign up today.
You have my interest now. Well, I was already interested, but I want to make sure
now I have your
properly
attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Portray my interest to the listeners.
Like Leo and Django. That's
so you're saying, yes, if
Yeah.
I don't, except I'm not a crazy racist slaveholder. What I'm saying is this. You're telling me if I don't have a bracket pool to play and maybe my friends didn't put it together, maybe they're dragging ass on it, maybe I just want to have more skin in the game.
Sure.
I can put how much money in to my bookie?
$1.
Uh-huh.
And you get a chance at $10,000 in cash prizes.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah. You sign up today at mybookie.ag. Use the promo code RBP, as in the Ross Bolen podcast, RBP, to secure a deposit bonus up to $1,000. Stipulations apply. Make sure you use our promo code so they know we hooked you up. That's promo code RBP to claim your first deposit bonus up to $1,000. College ball, NBA, NHL, no matter the sport, no matter the minute. MyBookie.ag puts the action in your hands with in-game live betting, and you can choose from thousands of lines and odds. You can turn any game day into payday. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use that code RBP when you sign up. Sports! Next segment. Trash or not trash? The Grammys.
Oh, man.
We haven't done a trash or not trash in a minute either.
Yeah.
But today we have to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart. I'm a big music fan. I love music a lot. A lot more mainstream music than you do, I would argue, Jared.
Yeah,
You're
like
a bit of a hipster when it comes to the tunes.
If you ever there's a dude at the corner of 57th and Bronson, and he plays the fiddle, and he also kicks a wash bin, and it makes a sort of drum sound. He's my number one on Spotify.
Yeah, so Jared is hipster trash when it comes to music. I'm more of like the most basic bitch in the world.
Normie,
when
yeah,
it
you're
comes to
extremely
music.
normie, like loser. Like if you looked at your Spotify,
It's embarrassing. People mock it. A lot of Drake, a lot of The Weeknd, who is the first person I want to talk about today. The Weeknd, otherwise known as Abel. He's the Canadian guy from Canada. Speaking
Abel?
of Drake, yeah, his first name's Abel.
That's tight.
Yeah, really tight name. That Drake actually sort of not really discovered, but gave shine to, gave his opportunity to. The Weeknd put out an album last year. I believe it was called After Hours or something like that. And like every other album he's put out, it was phenomenal. Packed front to back with hits. He's essentially Bruno Mars if Bruno Mars had edge and was cool instead of just focused on making songs that could be played, as I put on Twitter, at anywhere from like a wedding with all ages to like a child's birthday party. Like, that's Bruno Mars. He's just the most generic hit maker of all time. The Weeknd is the guy like actually making songs about doing the cocaine. Bruno just gets caught doing the cocaine and does songs that are like cool for your grandma and grandpa to slow dance to.
I got this, okay?
Yeah.
Bruno Mars is the Black Eyed Peas, and The Weeknd is Pitbull.
I couldn't disagree more with that. But The Weeknd is awesome. He performed at the Super Bowl. And then he received a total of 0 Grammy nominations. He was completely snubbed, which just further proves after year, and they find a way to do this year after year after year after year, that the Grammys are this big political machine of shit that doesn't have anything actually to do with really the body of work that an artist is putting forward. For example, Nas. You're familiar with Nas. The old man, he's like 45 fucking years old now.
What's that song you had? The big one?
One Mic? No, I'm just kidding. He's had a lot of hits. Nas, one of the greatest, most respected, influential rappers in the history of hip-hop. He won his first Grammy last night for an album that I didn't know was out, which also just speaks to the general strangeness of these times in terms of what the pandemic has done to our ability to stay up with the latest movies and pop culture shit in general. It's just a different world. There's not as much word of mouth. I guess nothing in Nas's marketing budget for King's Disease, I believe it's called, hit me. And as a result, I missed this entire album that got Nas his first Grammy. The Grammys have been a shit show forever. But the fact that they would snub out a person who so blatantly deserves to be there and be recognized is like on some next level dumb shit for me. So The Weeknd boycotted the Grammys. And I'm not boycotting the Grammys, but I'm certainly out on giving a shit who they give the awards to. Now, back when we get to the post-pandemic and the Grammys can be packed with people and be the insanely fun show that it once was instead of using so much Zoom, I'll still watch. But if you think that I'm going to believe the Grammys should be allowed to tell me what the best album of the year is, you're crazy.
I should be doing that.
Jared is here for that reason, and he's already told us. We just go down to 65th and...
Bronson?
I don't even know where the fuck that is.
Yeah, it's a part of town you don't typically go to. A lot of good coffee shops, a lot of good charcuterie. Like they make the charcuterie in house, and it's stone ground mustard. And they have actually it's you probably shouldn't go.
I'm a big charcuterie guy, huge fan of hot pie from Game of Thrones and the charcuterie game that he brought. 2 Thrones.
Wasn't he making pie?
He made some pies, but he did a mean charcuterie board too. Yeah, mean charcuterie board. When's the last time you watched the Grammys?
Probably like 3 years ago.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions. Do you know who Bad Bunny is?
Yes.
Do you know who Dua Lipa is?
I don't know a single song by her, but I've heard of her, and she was all over Twitter last night.
She caused many people to become aroused.
Oh, okay.
Sexual performance.
Was it good?
Sex.
Was it good? Is she a good singer?
I don't know. I didn't watch.
Oh.
Yeah. I boycotted with The Weeknd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But apparently she crushed. Do you know who Megan Thee Stallion is?
Yeah.
That's important because she was a big winner.
She was in WAP.
You know who really won the Grammys?
All of
the city of Houston, Texas.
Why?
Because we are low-key one of the hot spots for producing international musical talent that goes unrecognized. Seriously, I'm not even joking. Think about it. Beyonce, Lil Flip, Megan Thee Stallion,
Travis Scott,
James Harden in that commercial several years ago. He sang a song. We're killing it.
Who else? I feel like maybe like L.A. would have you guys beat there.
Most famous Houston musicians.
I feel like maybe like New York City have you
I've got
destroyed.
You. Beyonce, ZZ Top, Scarface. guest of this show.
True.
Destiny's Child, Robert Earl Keen, Chameleonaire. Do you remember Chameleonaire? Do you even know who that is?
Yeah.
You know he's a big VC now?
Yeah, he's like extremely rich.
Did you know Nas, who we mentioned a minute ago, is a big VC now? Like one of the most successful VCs in the hip-hop community?
None of them have made as much money. Well, I'm saying money in the terms of like potential money.
Money.
As Akon with Acoin, which is about to go to the moon.
Akon, the only artist who was willing to sell out hard enough to do a song with Tekashi 6ix9ine, therefore burying his own career 70 feet below the earth. What the hell was he thinking? This dude, Tekashi, offered some artists $1 million to feature on a song with him just to try to gain back some semblance of a reputation. And the guy who was like, I'm in, was Akon, who ironically, his first hit was called Locked Up. Can't make this shit up.
I had never heard of this.
You've never heard the song Locked Up?
No, I've never heard Akon was the only person.
Yeah, because nobody listened to the song. Because nobody listens to Tekashi 6ix9ine because he's a little rat boy.
I watched that. Little Rat Boy is literally what I call my sister's dog. I call him Little Rat Boy. But anyways, I watched the Tekashi 6ix9ine documentary on Hulu while sitting next to Little Rat Boy the dog. Pretty good.
Okay. I'm gonna get to that one day. I'm quite certain. Anyway, I'm just gonna say that the Grammys are trash.
Yeah, no, the Grammys are definitely trash.
To answer my own question,
if they can't get like people to watch their show when it has all the biggest musicians in America on it because people don't like the decisions they make, then maybe they're making the wrong decisions.
Well, this just is incredibly. If you look into like how the votes are actually cast, it's the most crooked bullshit in the world. Anyway, Billie Eilish won Record of the Year for a record that I also didn't know existed. I'm also sick of seeing her brother Phineas everywhere. Although he may be talented, I don't care.
Why does he look like he thinks he's so much better than me?
I don't. It's his face. It's very, very punchable. Album of the Year went to Taylor Swift for Folklore. Hard to disagree with. I'm not a Swiftie, all right? I'm not. But Taylor Swift is undeniably talented. She's like almost the female Weeknd for me, but a step more toward Bruno Mars on the scale.
I mean, she's definitely done more Bruno Mars-esque works, like Bad Blood. I hate Bad Blood. That's a Bruno Mars-esque song to me.
That's a great song, though, man.
I should say this, though. I love Bruno Mars. I like Bruno Mars more than I like The Weeknd.
I used to really, really, really like Bruno Mars. I was a big Bruno fan. And then it just got old hearing him take a song that, like, I knew if he hadn't dumbed it down to sell more, that it would be even more dope. And I get that that's his lane. And obviously, look, Bruno Mars is one of the most successful musicians on the planet. I'm
also did the Super Bowl.
Half joking when I hate. Also did the Super Bowl. Shouts to all the short kings out there. I just think he's generally the most generic version of what he could possibly be. Like, he is the most generic. It's like he's the Michael Bublé of hip-hop.
Yeah, Michael Bublé, again, he has some absolute bangers and bops that I blast in my car.
But just in general.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Michael Bublé. He's so boring.
He's as brand safe as he could possibly be, and that's Bruno Mars, except low-key on the sly, he, like, rages. He got caught doing cocaine once, like 10 years ago.
Really?
And now I just assume that's what he does on because that's how it works. If you were ever arrested at any point and you're famous, we all just assume you're out doing drugs and crime and sex all the time.
Michael Phelps.
Yep.
He's
assume he's stoned, high as a kite, Jared.
I remember
because he smoked that bong once.
Yeah.
Remember that? People were really upset with how he smoked that bong. You know how fucking stupid that is in hindsight? If it had been a picture of him having a half-empty beer can or some shit, nobody would have given a rat's ass. It was a bong. Phelps smoked some ganj, and everybody freaked out. And then he won like 37 more gold medals, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's cool."
Yeah, I feel like he has the lung capacity to be able to like handle that.
Pretty sure he's good.
How long do you think Michael Phelps can hold his breath? That should be an Olympic competition.
You know we're never gonna see that again, right? You know we're never gonna. You and I, in our lifetime, we'll never see anybody just go in and be like, "I'll take all of the gold medals for the next several years, please."
Yeah, well, we might. I feel like Simone Biles is still on the tear.
Okay, gymnastics-wise, different. But I mean, like, in terms of a swimmer, that guy was not natural.
Well,
watching him go through the water was a little odd. It was almost like, that's not. Witch! Burn the witch! That's how I felt.
Maybe he had, like, propeller feet, like go-go Inspector Gadget type shit. I'll say this. I think you're discrediting somebody who's about to have a major, major comeback in the next Olympics.
Okay. I also will note I did not know Bruno Mars had formed a rap group, a group with Anderson .Paak.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Anderson .Paak, very talented.
My concern is that Bruno will Bruno Anderson.
No, I think Anderson's going to Anderson Bruno. I don't think Bruno's going to Bruno Anderson.
See, that would be a win for all of us.
Yeah.
For all of us. Let's talk about our final topic of today.
Well, can I tell you the Olympian who's about to have a major comeback?
I thought it was Michael Phelps.
No.
Oh.
Ryan Lochte.
What's that guy up to? Probably solving math problems.
Well, you may remember he lied to the Brazilian authorities about getting mugged and robbed.
He did.
While having silver hair.
Uh-huh.
While I don't even know if he won as high as a silver.
He was also barely able to read.
Yeah. The best Lochte moment ever. First off, he had a TV show. That's just unbelievable.
Ryan Lochte was the half-brained sidekick to Michael Phelps in his most important and famous Olympic run.
My favorite Ryan Lochte moment ever, and there's great compilations you can watch. There's a moment he gets interviewed, and they're like, one of the questions they ask is like, I don't know why it's a weird interview question, but it's, what is Ryan Lochte's phone background? Like they just want to know like what do you look at on your phone?
Oh, your history?
Yeah, and like literally the background image on your phone.
What is your wallpaper? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he looks at his phone and just goes, rocks. It is like the iPhone rocks background.
The man was as intelligent as a brick.
That's at University of Florida education. Don't come for me, Gators. Fuck you.
Just one of the stupidest people to ever become that famous. You know what? It's the swimming thing. Like Lochte as an example. Now I'm not proud of this, but I can see Lochte in my head. Part of Lochte in my head is his package, which is unimpressive. And unfortunately, as a swimmer, there's just that element of mystique of every man and woman. We don't know what's going on down there. You've got pants on or whatever. When you're a swimmer, you're forced to take your pants or whatever off. And there's only the Speedo to really give a glimpse of what your gusto may be down there. And in the case of the swimmer, if you're not packing, everybody knows. But you never see a swimmer who you're like, that hog is just absurd. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Aerodynamically, big hog, bad swimmer.
Drag, increases drag. Yeah.
And that's why there's no shame for these guys up there in their Speedos, because at that point in life, it's like, look, my hog may be average sized and or below average to make this Speedo fit properly, and so that what's that called when you're trying to get as much speed as possible, you don't want any drag.
Yeah.
You don't want your big hog dragging you down as you're trying to cut through the water. And those guys know they came out on top.
Yeah.
And those are the dudes who started the argument. It's not the size of the swimmer. It's the motion in the pool.
That is so botched of a saying.
No, that's exactly the saying.
Well, the thing about this, going off your point, is if you have a big hog and you're swimming,
a large penis,
sometimes it can act as a hydrofoil and literally lift you out of the water.
You levitate. If you can get your penis to spin like a fucking propeller, then you're saying it can become part of the strategy.
Are you aware of a hydrofoil?
Is this just as effective for a woman with a large labia?
It could be.
I don't like that word. I feel disgusting having said it. It's like the cock of the female body.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to hear you say cock.
Yeah.
It makes everybody uncomfortable.
It's cacophonous.
Dylan used to fucking freak out when I would use that word in front of him, and I would use it a lot just to make him upset once he told me that it upset him. We have another segment. Would you like to do it?
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
I was just going to say the hydrofoil is, when you ever see like those people who have a surfboard and it's got one little stick at the bottom and the surfboard rises out of the water?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying would happen with the penis.
Yeah.
That's why you got to have a small. Anyways.
The other jokes that my brain wants me to make are about ejaculation and urination, and I'm just gonna not.
If you want jokes about ejaculation and insemination and urination, go to patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast.
Yeah, we hold all of our insemination jokes for patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast, where every week you get an ad-free premium edition of RBP. Go now to patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast for more. Next segment.
The Quesadilla Wars. Here's the deal. I was on Twitter last night. I get a Twitter ad, and it says,
yes,
Chipotle now has quesadillas.
Which I was weirded out by because I've had mini quesadillas.
Mm-hmm.
It was just always an off-menu option. Like,
Yes.
you'd be like, hit me with, I didn't know this even, but like, I always just assumed, I guess one day I went to Chipotle and somebody I was with ordered a quesadilla, and I was like, shit, I didn't really ever think about that. I'm a quesadilla guy. Good food. Simple. Fucking tortilla, fucking cheese, fucking some kind of meat, fucking great little quick meal.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that this is where they're at, like trying to pretend that the quesadilla is now some great menu ad, it just speaks to the overall depressing nature of Chipotle as a company.
And
ever
not-
since that
yeah.
fucking thing where they poisoned, allegedly, a bunch of people ate Chipotle and got sick.
E. coli.
E. coli, that's the one. Up until then, nobody had ever questioned this business, their practices, the only thing we'd ever done is complain about how guacamole costs more money. Ever since then, the brand is in the toilet. This doesn't help. Pretending you're inventing the quesadilla is silly.
And like that. Not just that, Ross. They are bringing their marketing campaign is like this. They're like, we know you big Chipotle fans knew it was a secret menu item, but now it's a real item. However, and this is the kicker, quesadilla only available online and through the app. If I walk into a Chipotle
You can't actually.
and I want to go, hey, can I get a quesadilla? They'll go, oh, sorry. You got to download the Chipotle app or go to chipotle.com.
Sir, please step out of line.
Yeah.
Go over there to the corner, take out your phone, and order your quesadilla because you cannot actually request one person to person here in the store.
And I'm like, oh, wait, so like, do you have like the tortilla and the cheese and the meat right there? They're like,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but you're going to need to go order online.
I really want to go to Chipotle and go, oh, I saw you guys have a quesadilla. Like, it looks really good. Can I please have a quesadilla, please? And see what they say.
Let's go on the way home. I'm dead ass. Here's the fucking tweet. Stop sign, stop, other stop sign emoji. All caps, quesadilla is not a secret menu item anymore. It's a whole new squiggly line experience. Other squiggly line for emphasis of the word experience. As if eating a quesadilla is an experience. I guess it technically is. Anyway, only available online starting today. And then it followed up with a second tweet that is a GIF of a quesadilla being separated from another quesadilla. I just can't with these guys anymore. Their whole setup, by the way, pandemic times, it's different. Napkin jacking, slightly more complicated. Lots of Chipotles have gone to the added step of making it so you have to ask them for your fucking utensils and napkins and shit. And it's like COVID gave them the excuse they needed to finally put the kibosh on our grand scheme of bankrupting them by slowly but surely over the years emptying their napkin supplies.
For new listeners, can you explain the level that this got to at one point?
At one point, at the beginning of this show's launch a few years back, one of our running gags was how everybody used Chipotle napkins as like toilet paper, hand towels, paper towels, that everybody takes way too many Chipotle napkins so that they can use them in their home, especially in college or when you're dead ass broke right after college or for the rest of life. And then it became a bit that people were taking. We were essentially an organized group of people who were taking as many napkins from Chipotle as possible on a very wide scale. And we were receiving hundreds of videos and photos every week of people taking hundreds and hundreds of napkins, and in some cases the entire napkin dispenser, in some cases the lemonades or sweet tea dispensers. It was to the point where I was genuinely concerned that Chipotle was going to file a class action suit against this show for being a terrorist organization.
Yeah,
because we were quite literally terrorizing them.
People were stealing, and when he says napkin dispenser, he doesn't mean the tabletop ones.
No, I mean the full-blown
metal,
like, the giant metal, like 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
And like sending me pictures of them with it in their car, or the giant silver. There's two different versions that kept getting jacked. One goes up and one goes back. Both have been stolen and thrown in cars and sent pictures. I mean, it was out of control, Jared. Like, it was completely out of control. Yeah. I'm not. And there's an important point here for all my lawyers listening. I never encouraged these crimes. It was a community vibe and a wave that everyone rode together.
Yeah.
I don't know how this newest news will affect that wave. I can't speak to how the community will react to this clear betrayal in an attempt to present the quesadilla as anything but what it is.
Chipotle is like Taco Bell to me, right? Here's what happened. You had some dudes, some smart business dudes get together and go, how can we make a restaurant that has 5+ menu items using only 3 ingredients? Right?
Well, it's interesting you'd bring up Taco Bell because that's literally the reason this is happening.
Oh, go on.
Chipotle saw Taco Bell and their quesadillas as a direct threat, and they have engaged in Quesadilla Wars.
Oh, shit.
Finally letting customers order quesadillas online and through their app. Taco Bell, meanwhile, has brought back the quesalupa and is pushing its own quesadilla.
Wait,
here's a quote, Jared,
okay.
from Credit Suisse analyst Lauren Silberman. Quote, "Is this the start of the Quesadilla Wars?" End quote.
I have a question for you, Ross. Is Quesalupa the brother of Dua Lipa? Legitimately curious.
That's all we got for today's show, folks. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the new era of RBP. I'm Ross Bolen, joined by Jared Borislow. You can follow us both on social media. At WR Bolen is my Twitter and Instagram handle. At Jared Borislow to follow Mr. Jared. It's a new week, J-Bone.
New week.
In a new era of the Ross Bolen podcast. Jared and I have been working our dicks off and balls over the past few days in particular to make sure that we bring you the best of the best in this new era of this show. We're stoked, as I expressed yesterday, to be working together again after so many years full-time and to show you all what we've got in store. I mean, this podcast and this company have an incredible amount of potential that I feel very blessed to be a part of and at the center of. And I couldn't feel more fortunate to have Jared here with me on the ride now, and to not be alone in it is a really good feeling. For all of you who have supported us since episode 1, for all of you who just found out about us through Barstool or the Kevin Clancy Show or Jared Freed, the J-Train podcast, welcome. Can't wait to show you what we've got here. Feel free to start working your way through the backlog, and we'll see you Wednesday for another episode of the Ross Bolen podcast. Until then, remember, you are not alone. Peace be with you, and also with you.
J-Bomb.